Welcome back to Project Seawolf. Today on the boat, we're going to continue trying to get the storage area ready to be used. So I was thinking of keeping these holes because this hole is on both sides and I could just put a cargo net across if I don't want to mix the two things. But to have like long pieces of equipment being stored in here, I'll just keep that hole there. I filled the screw holes in these with wood filler, and then I'll sand them and repaint these, and I'll put a hinge back here so that to access the storage you can either put your finger through a hole here with a rope or and then use the hinge there, and then there will also be a pull out hinge here. And this crossbar is going to be fiberglassed in here, and that will give the latch something to latch onto and also some additional support for this thin thing here, because people will be sleeping here on this quarter berth and who knows what. Yeah, so clean up this stuff. There's like a void here that I could probably fill with thickened epoxy or something, because this wood's still solid, just needs to be cleaned up a bit. These flippy leftover fiberglass tabs need to be trimmed down. But yeah, and this is the wall we did in the last episode. The roving turned out great. Solid like the other side. And there's even some extra epoxy that dripped down in there, made a puddle, and then hardened into a rock, so that will help secure all that in there. Yeah, very happy with how this turned out. Nice solid wall. I've already marked out where I'm going to cut these for the crossbar. And just need to trim in a little bit, secure it in there. And I'll round out all these edges, but these edges I think are good for the supporting this structure. I might take off this bit here though, along here. Got some more fiberglass work to do, but getting closer to using these storage areas, and then I can put a lot of the spare parts and wood in here and keep it out of the way in the boat nice. Another little detail thing I want to do before people start sleeping on it, I'd like to go along here with like the thinnest foam I can find, and that way it'll keep the sound of this, which their heads will be right next to. Yeah, that's really loud, so if I can mute that with some foam, that would be ideal. Okay, I've done a pretty good job of prepping everything. Trimmed this a little bit so it's nice straight. Also these back bits. I've kind of put some junk fiberglass in there, and I'm gonna pour some epoxy in there because there's a gap in there that I want to fill. And then yeah, lay some fiberglass on here over the top, and then I'll put some thickened epoxy in here, in here, and here. and that should keep everything in place. Put fiberglass over this piece of wood, and that should do it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a batch of epoxy all mixed up, and then I'm gonna paint on as much of the chopped strand fiberglass as I can with the epoxy, and then I'll add the silicone to the epoxy to make the thickened epoxy, which I'll then apply to the joints with the wood and pour into that crevice that I want to fill. Great. Okay. I want to take some time to thank my sponsors. You guys have really enabled me to do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, and keeps the dream alive, getting the boat back in the water. Thank you so much. I've got their names on the screen. I'm just going to use the rest of this can. Might have to have another project ready to go if I'm going to use this entire can. Thanks to SV Mig for the for some more epoxy and the thickened epoxy filler. Cabocel for a thickened epoxy filler. Stopped by his house and picked that up today. I'll have to make sure I can get at this corner fiberglass job that I pretty much botched the outside of. The inside looks great. Outside, not so much. Okay, I went down and prepped that surface. Yeah, I also drilled some drainage holes, not only in the one that I'm standing on, but in the big one as well. Eventually I'd like to put like a metal grate there or something, like something pretty, that will also help keep things in the storage. All right, mix, mix, mix. Okay, so the previous fiberglass jobs have been taken care of now, and they're fully covered. I'm just gonna laminate this wood pretty much. This piece here, anywhere I'm gonna put some fiberglass down, it seems to stick better when I pre-laminate it. Pretty much everywhere that the epoxy is dripping, I'm gonna be painting anyway, so not too worried about it. Sanding it smooth as well, so even the bumps I don't really mind. It has a ton of fiberglass chunks in it. I can feel it starting to get a little sticky in there, so fiberglass does not like sharp corners, does it? Okay, I've pretty much been able to laminate this piece of wood, but this piece of wood needs more resin, and so does that one. So I'm going to use some of the stuff that Captain Topher on SV Mig sent me today. And Captain Topher is over in Ventura on his way around the world, so pretty jealous. 4 pumps, I believe, of resin. So now 4 pumps of hardener. So this stuff is a little bit nicer than the stuff I've used. Well, apparently it's almost out because it's kind of spurting. I hope this resin mixes okay with the other resin. It's kind of a low risk area. Like, I don't think the area really needs that much. Just kind of making the edges of the wood not look so bad. And I guess that crossbeam will benefit from the added resin. I think that's pretty well mixed. Okay, it's turning out actually okay. I'm able to get some of the places that I was concerned about flattened out. Just needs to be rolled out along here and there now. And then once this is all done, then I will be able to sand things and paint it. It's a pretty big step. Man, having my first finished area on this boat, I'm never gonna want to leave it. I'm gonna move into the finished area and live there for a while, I think. Okay, I think the lamination turned out pretty good. Yeah. When I come back next time, it should be ready to be sanded and painted. Get all the burrs and stuff off, and yeah. Okay. Well, if you had a good time, give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. I didn't realize, must have had a bloody nose at some point, because, dang.